Welcome to Mock the Mock, where I take a look at someone else's mock draft and I'll mock it, give you my views, thoughts, and opinions. Got a great one for you today. We're going to travel over to our friends at the Draft Network and take a look at Jamie Eisner's mock draft. Let's first take a gander, see what the draft order is. Every team currently owns its first round pick, blah, blah, blah. It's based on Super Bowl betting odds, reverse order of the Super Bowl betting odds. So let's go ahead and get into this sucker. As the New England Patriots, they stay at one. Don't know if there's going to be trades in this based on not seeing someone trade up for a quarterback, because that's kind of everyone's easy way out right now. The Patriots go with Will Campbell, offensive tackle at LSU. I get it. They need the offensive line help. Will Campbell is probably, him and Kelvin Banks are the top two guys. Emory Jones, the LSU right tackle, might end up being a guard. It's kind of a toss-up right now, but I feel like his skill set might lend itself better to being a guard, which means, the tackle class feels like it might be getting thin. We'll see. But I mean, I'm not against it, obviously. I might have Will Johnson as my top player. And hey, the cornerback 2 spot's kind of open for the Patriots after this year with Jonathan Jones being a free agent. But I get it. You want to protect your quarterback. You want to protect your new franchise quarterback in Drake May. It makes all the sense in the world. Carolina Panthers, they go with Tetero McMillan. Hold the phone. Yeah, no, we're going to have a legit race for wide receiver too, especially if Tetero could. I mean, I don't want to imagine he's going to get another 300-yard receiving performance with 4 tutties. But if he has a good hold, at least statistically, over Luther Burden, people might look at McMillan just as, okay, well, no, I mean, the way he moves at that size, they might just lean with him, while Luther Burden might look more like, okay, yeah, very good after the catch, very elusive, someone who can move around. But if you're looking for like, potential alpha wide receiver, McMillan might be that. I get that. I get that right now. I'm a sucker for Yak, which means I love Burden by default. It's very close right now. And you're, of course, going to have to throw Travis Hunter's name into the ring, because honestly, I'm leaning he's wide receiver just because of I heard that the cornerback 4, in terms of the pay scale, the 4th highest paid corner in the NFL is making about what wide receiver 22 or 23 makes. So he's probably going to be a wide receiver. Just makes more sense. Let's talk about wide receiver. Like, I don't know, with how good the edge, like I feel, okay, the edge class might be deep. So there might not be that big of a difference from your edge 1 and 2 to what might be available at the beginning of round 2. Again, this is all early. This is all projection, but I mean, I think this team desperately needs an edge. I think I actually would have gone Will Johnson. You just haven't been able to trust J.C. Horn to stay healthy. All right, let's keep rolling. Denver Broncos. They're going with Kelvin Banks, tackle out of Texas. And McGlinchey, up there in years. Garrett Bowles might be gone after next season. You're probably looking for the long-term option. You're also probably looking to get a little bit cheaper on the roster. Kelvin Banks helps achieve that. So just like that, we got freaking 3 offensive players off the board in what I would say is more of a defensive heavy class. It's going to be a very fascinating year. But before we get to number 4, I got to give a shout out to our friends at Underdog Fantasy with week 1. Well, starting today, they got a hell lot of specials. But why hear it from me when you can hear it from me? Before we continue with today's video, guys, football is back. The NFL returns this weekend, and Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Not only if you sign up using promo code Broshmo will they match your first deposit up to $250, but they have a ton of specials for this weekend's festivities. For instance, they have a free pick in the form of Travis Kelce, over or under 0.5 yards. They even have a Thursday night kickoff special where you can get 30% profit boost if you hit. Hell yeah. And I mean, the folks at Underdog, they're after my own heart, as they got college football covered, as well as they got discount for the dogs. Let's go. So take advantage of these specials currently going on at Underdog Fantasy. And if it's your first time signing up, use promo code Broshmo to take advantage of them matching your first deposit up to $250. But as always, bet responsibly, bet within your means. At number 4, the New York Giants take the first quarterback in the class, being Carson Beck. I've been loud about my opinion on this quarterback class right now. I don't see a top 10 quarterback just yet. I think once you exit the top 10, then the options get very meaty, whether it is Carson Beck, Shadur, Cam Ward, saying, hey, watch out. And I think Cam Ward probably has the highest upside between those three options. Of course, you got to talk about guys like Jalen Milroe, who will see more. He only threw 9 passes because, I mean, that's all Alabama really needed against Western Kentucky. Quinn Ewers, even Jackson Dart and such. But Beck kind of seems to be like the guy with the highest floor, though I'd argue Shadur's right up there in terms of guys with the highest floor. Both have very good pocket presence. Both maneuver the pocket exceptionally well. Though Shadur looked really good against North Dakota State. Seemed like the trust was there with the offensive line. Like, hey, I could trust these guys to block for me. So he definitely looked more poised rather than start to float, which I thought was a problem last year. Both have great processors. Their anticipation on their throws is really good. Beck was a little off in week 1, but again, I feel like he's still trying to find who will be like the lead target there at Georgia. So like for me, it's kind of a toss-up between Beck and Shadur. Both, I don't know if I'd go quarterback top 10. Again, as the season goes on, that can really change. But I think with both guys, because like I think Trevor Sigma said this about Shadur, kind of like comped him to Teddy Bridgewater, and I was like, golly, that's a phenomenal comp. And I was trying to come up with one for Beck. Like part of me wants to like lean into like Jared Goff. That doesn't feel great though. But I mean, you look at those two comps, and it's like, because I know people like lose their mind over Teddy Bridgewater. He was really good coming out of Louisville, and injuries kind of screwed him in the NFL, unfortunately. But I look at those guys as probably the guys I won't want to necessarily take. Maybe in the top 10, I want to shoot for a higher upside. But if you need quarterback, you want to be the first to get to quarterback. So I get it. Quarterback value skyrockets. It makes sense. But yeah, the Giants definitely need a quarterback. I don't know. We'll see. Will Malik Neighbors save Danny Dimes? Tennessee Titans, this is where we see the first defensive player come off the board in Abdul Carter out of Penn State edge. Yes, Titans, they need edge help. They don't really have a number 1 edge, in my opinion. Abdul Carter, I'm like, yo, hold the phone, reel it back in. I get it. Everyone loves the physical and athletic traits. Wasn't the most impressive showing against West Virginia. He had like a 7% pass rush win rate. Okay, whatever. Only had 1 pressure. Wasn't that good against the run. Kind of some of the problems I thought he might have had where, okay, once he gets engaged, he doesn't show the same violence and ferocity when he's just kind of like out in space to be able to disengage those blockers. So those concerns were there. Matter of fact, I mean, I would argue that Danny Dennis Sutton looked more impressive, though. It's not like his win rate was crazy, 9.5%, but he did have 4 pressures. His true pass rush win rate was higher, which that just takes out anything influenced by the run game. So we're talking RPOs, play action, stuff like that. So Yeah, I'm not there with Abdul Carter yet. I get the upside. It's first round upside, but are we talking like Travon Walker upside? You get what I'm saying? You feel me? All right, all right, all right. Let's keep rolling. As we got Commanders going with Luther Burden. Well, they did lose a they traded Jahan Dotson. Was it not? I mean, wasn't the coaching staff for the regime that drafted him? So yeah, kind of makes sense. I feel like potentially. Why am I blanking? Forbes might be the next to go. Again, not his coaching staff, not the regime that drafted him. So Luther Burden would be a very good compliment to Terry McLaurin, whether you want to play him inside or on the outside. Part of me maybe wants to like take a shot at the. Well, I mean, okay, you know what? Will Johnson, Mason Graham, those are like my two guys in this class. I think they're the best defensive prospects in the class. I think they're currently the best prospects in the class. I'm shocked we haven't seen them come off the board yet. Will Johnson had the pick 6 in the Fresno State game to start the year. Very good start. But I do love Luther Burden. I'm not going to hate too much. New Orleans Saints are here at 7. We see Travis Hunter, which I lean wide receiver, which will just give the, I guess the Saints more slender builds at wide receiver. You probably, I mean, it kind of makes sense because like they're kind of set at corner, and well, if they pay a Debo, but you would get I imagine you're still going to use them in some form, whether you see him as a corner or a wide receiver. That you're going to use there's going to be a certain package for him on the opposite side of the ball, where that's as, again, wide receiver corner. So it's going to be fascinating. I think he's going to lean wide receiver just because of the pay scale. A lot of people want to argue as him as the best prospect in this class. He's very underdeveloped as both a corner and a wide receiver just because, he's playing both sides. So yeah, the polish isn't there. Like, he's not the most nuanced route runner. He's just out there being a great athlete trying to get open. With corner, it doesn't necessarily have like the most fluid technique, but since he's just a smooth mover, he's able to mirror very effectively. But you're gonna worry about maybe his size against press and stuff. So, which I mean that's kind of a New Orleans thing, right? So, yeah, no, it's fine. Wide receiver. I mean, I kind of want to get out on Derek Carr. I mean, I get you're stuck with Derek Carr, but I feel like this, like, I wouldn't mind going tackle. You see the top 2 tackles off the board. Makes sense they don't go there. I think I would probably, though, go with the quarterback. I say take a shot. And why not take a shot on upside? That's 7. You already seen one quarterback come off the board. You might as well take a shot on another. Even if you're stuck with Derek Carr for another year financially, just grab someone that you can develop for a year. Then take a shot on one of those high upside guys where it's like Ewers or Milrow or Ward, you know? And then at number 8, the Raiders go with Shadur Sanders. I think he'd be a good fit for Getsy's system. I think Getsy wants a guy that can process the field well. He would be getting it here. Raiders will need a quarterback. Minshew isn't the future, though I love Minshew Mania has now come to Las Vegas. That just seems all kinds of crazy. I love it. But Raiders do need a quarterback. Shadur had a very impressive outing. Looked really good in terms of some of the stuff he's ironed out, but doesn't have the strongest arm. Not saying it's not an NFL arm. It's like a Joe Burrow arm. So as long as you can be precise, throw with touch, which Shadur can do, then yeah, you're a first round player. All right, let's keep on rolling. We got the Minnesota Vikings, Mason Graham. How is Will Johnson still on the freaking board? All right, so Mason Graham, they get some interior help. I like this actually quite a bit. If you want to blitz less, then you got to make sure your defensive line is getting the job done. They have Dallas Turner. They brought in Jonathan Grenard. Now you need to focus on that interior, get some horses. Mason Graham is that horse. He is a steal at number 9. At number 10, Arizona Cardinals. They snag James Pierce Jr. I'm still a Nick Scording guy. Pierce Jr., another guy, like you'll hear the term out there, just being trying to out athlete the competition. Like he's a elite level athlete in terms of explosiveness, closing ability. But the pass rush toolbox is a little small at this juncture. He does need to put more meat on the frame, but the Cardinals, they need pass rush help. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, utter steal. Will Johnson, best player in this class in my opinion. Just moves exceptionally well. So fluid, so sticky, and has the ball skills. Like, honestly, any gripe you have with Will Johnson is a Nick pick. This would be phenomenal because, again, you look at the Bucs and it's like Zion McCullum. Is he the guy? Like, you got Jamel Dean. Dean needs to stay healthy, but I like the pick quite a bit. But hey, if you want to know more about these draft prospects, then I got good news for you. I bring the good word. Everybody loves the NFL draft, and I know you want to be familiar with every potential prospect that your team may draft. So I got good news for you. My draft guide is available for purchase. It is good throughout the entire draft cycle, and it updates through the season regularly. You'll get my current evals and rankings on hundreds of different players with player backgrounds and analytics. It also contains combine and pro day numbers, as well as my notes from the Senior and Shrine Bowl. You can purchase it for a one-time payment of $30 on PayPal, Venmo, and now I have the Cash App. Follow the link in the description and be sure to include your email because it is a Google spreadsheet. That is how I share it with you. So please don't make me hunt down your email. Just don't do it. Anywho, it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. At 12, the Colts go with Malachi Stark, safety out of Georgia. It's kind of a fun fit. Truly is. Playmaking safety, whether it's in the slot, box, or deep. Very good movement skills. You saw the insane interception against Clemson. Colts. I'm hoping Nick Cross is a stud this year, but you could also make a case, well, Ronnie Thomas, he's more of a backup. Julian Blackman, he's on a one-year deal, so we do need to look for that other option because it's currently not on the roster. So yeah, you can talk me into them going with the safety here. Again, very early, a lot of season left to be played. Some would say all of the season left to be played for the NFL. Seattle Seahawks go with Emory Jones. Going to be interesting, specifically if he ends up playing guard or tackle. But Abraham Lucas, apparently he's got their word in here is a chronic knee issue. So is it going to be something that keeps him out periodically? It really sucks. He had a very promising rookie year, but if he's not someone you can rely on, again, availability is the best ability you can have in the NFL, then you probably want to look somewhere else, which, I mean, hey, they've dipped into the LSU offensive line before when it came to Anthony Bradford. They've dipped into the SEC offensive line in general when it came to Charles Cross, so doesn't surprise me. Pittsburgh Steelers go Benjamin Morrison. Yeah, we're like, yo, screw this. 2 quarterbacks off the board. We're going to wait. Morrison's great, though. Yeah, I think he deserves to be in the top 10 discussion. He had a really good game against A&M this past week. Steelers currently, you got Joey Porter Jr., Dante Jackson, off the top of my head, I don't know what his contract looks like, but I imagine if they could get off him after this season, if they want to get cheaper, and you can do that via the draft. Benjamin Morrison at this juncture would be a phenomenal pickup. Pick 15, Jacksonville Jaguars. Ariante Ursi out of Minnesota. Oh, man, I love this. So, pending free agents will be Cam Robinson, Walker Little. You might probably look into the left tackle position. You got Ursi, who's got the length, got the movement skills, just needs a little bit of development. He's got the power, but now he's got to work on like having that functional strength as a pass protector. This feels a little high for him right now. Maybe I like him better back end of the first round. But again, a lot of season to go. He could definitely rise. He's definitely worth mentioning in this tackle class because he is up there. Los Angeles Chargers, they go with Mikael Williams, edge out of Georgia. He went down with, they didn't list it. I heard ankle sprain. Not positive if that's fact right now. But something we needed to see with him was production, consistency. He had like an 8% win rate last year. That ain't gonna cut it for a first round pick. It's just not. But someone who has all of the tools in terms of length, power, speed, explosiveness. It's got the tools that you want from the edge position, but we need to see the consistency. And hopefully we and he is not robbed of that by injury. Because it didn't look good in the Clemson game, but it sounds like he will be back. But will he be back 100%? It's kind of the big question. Edge for the Chargers. I mean, I guess you could get off like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, but you're not gonna move on from both of those guys, and you're kind of hoping Bosa has a good healthy year. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. And pick 17. Okay, Browns go with Emeka Egbuka. I mean, Egbuka, he could play inside and outside, but he really feels like a slot player. And that's the thing with Jerry Jeudy. He really is a slot player. I don't know why you would grab another guy who wants to kind of dominate the slot, especially after you extended Jeudy. I mean, you're going to probably get off guys like Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper. So, yeah, going wide receiver probably is the right direction. But unfortunately, and I mean unfortunately, I don't think this is the type of wide receiver that they should shoot for. Okay, Chicago Bears, they go defensive interior, Walter Nolan. Okay, so fun fact, I haven't gotten into Ole Miss's Furman film, and I probably don't plan on getting into it because, well, it's against Furman. I'd rather see him against competition. But I am curious, how did he perform and how long did he stay in? Probably not that long. All right, boys and girls, I finally found it. So Walter Nolan ended up posting a win rate of 6.7, so not ideal. Did have a 20% win rate on true pass sets, which that kind of aligns with like you probably want him as a penetrating 3-tech. But Princely Umamielen, 38.5% win rate. That's freaking nuts. That's ludicrous. You love to see it. But yeah, Walter Nolan's got a lot to do before I think you could really call him a first-round prospect. Was very good against the run, though. You do like to see it. But again, this is all against Furman. Bears, I think they could go a variety of spots, and I'd be okay with, as long as it's not quarterback. Got the Rams. They go Colston Loveland. I don't like this pick. They did just sign Colby Parkinson. I'm kind of hoping he's the future. They'll get Tyler Higbee back in like 4 to 6 weeks. Despite having both Higbee and Parkinson on the roster, the Rams were reportedly very interested in training for Brock Bowers, who isn't. Loveland isn't Brock Bowers, though. So, yeah, I feel like the Rams should go elsewhere. Whether it's like taking a shot on this corner class, maybe looking left tackle. I don't really think the horse is there for left tackle. So taking a shot on this corner class is probably where I line up with. So yeah, I don't love that fit. But Loveland should be a back end of the first round tight end as it stands now. He looks like he's a leading pass catcher for Michigan too. Miami Dolphins go with Talik Williams. So I like Talik. The only thing I don't love about Talik is the dude is very much a run stuffer. he is the pass rush. I just don't think he's got he's explosive. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think he's got that dog in him to be as consistent as a pass rusher, and that typically keeps you out of the first round. He ended up having a win rate of 4.3%. Yeah, I mean he had 2 pressures and 1 sack, but like the win rate wasn't that good. To be fair, surprisingly, it wasn't that great for a lot of guys. Like probably your best win rate of the day came from Jack Sawyer, 18.8%. Mr. Consistency there, 4 pressures. I did have a true pass rush win rate of 50%. But like Williams, I think you probably get stuck in that early to mid second round just because of you need to grow so much as a pass rusher. Atlanta Falcons, they go with Nick Skirton. This guy should be so much higher. He had a great game against Notre Dame. He brings rare size, speed combination. Well, rare size, explosiveness, burst. And they got Matthew Judon. Is he more than a 1-year rental? We'll see. They might bring him back because it's not like Lorenzo Carter should be a depth player. Arnold Ebiketie, okay, hasn't worked out yet. So I like the idea of actually, taking a shot at edge here. I mean, to be fair, we thought they were going to do that in the draft, and then Michael Penix. New York Jets go Quinn Ewers. Here comes the next quarterback. I like them taking a shot at quarterback because you don't know how Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be here past this season. We'll see. But regardless, there needs to be a plan in place to move on from him because he is not the long-term option. Quinn Ewers could be that. Arm talent's never been a question with him. It's just consistency. And we'll get to see him against Michigan in Ann Arbor. We'll be doing a watch-along of that game this Saturday. Green Bay Packers, they go with Denzel Burke. I thought they may have been in this corner class. They were not. They could definitely do it, though, this year. Denzel Burke is a really good fit for Hafley. With Hafley, like, he's good. If it's anything like Boston College, like what he did at Boston College, it's probably going to be a lot of man coverage. A lot of, I think they put here, cover one. It might not be nearly as much as it was in college because you're not going to keep it the same. But you're probably going to be looking for those guys that can play press, they can play man coverage. Denzel Burke, really good athlete, deserves a shout out as maybe a mid to back end of the first round player. I think he had a forced fumble or a interception. I've only seen the highlights of the Ohio State game because, let's be honest, why am I going to go back and watch them play Akron? But yeah, he definitely deserves to be in the first round discussion as well at corner. Buffalo Bills, they go with Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky. Okay, this guy could be a sleeper for a first round pick. I'm never as high as maybe I should be on Kentucky corners, and I think that's just that's just a me thing. I know when I'm at fault for things. Like I was slow to the Andrew Phillips hype. I still ended up having like a day 2 grade on him. Carrollton Valentine. Honestly, I had him as a 6th, 7th round pick, a late day 3 pick. He ends up going to the 7th. He looked good for the Packers. So, but I mean, in this case, he's going to the Bills. But yeah, I mean, he's someone that I think has very good athletic ability. A little slender. Wouldn't mind if he filled out some of that frame. It definitely would be ideal. How did he do against Southern Miss? I imagine he probably played well. Okay, yeah. It was targeted once. Didn't allow a reception. Not very active against the run, to be fair. Southern Miss was passing a lot, apparently. But he is someone that is very active as a run defender. Would be a good fit, but I don't think Buffalo necessarily needs to take a shot on those guys on a corner early on. I mean, they could. Honestly, they could. That's a very well-rounded team. Dallas Cowboys go with Ollie Gordon. I guess we had to get one running back in here, and I would have gone with Ashton Genty because he's my guy. But Ollie Gordon, I'm not going to lie to you, kind of feels like Jerry Jones's cup of tea. Honestly, Amarian Hampton feels more Jerry Jones. He's going to look at that big frame and that speed, and he's going to be like, oh, mamma mia. Give me some of that. But yeah, I get running back. Their running back room doesn't feel great. So apparently Deuce Vaughn's the only running back on the roster past 2025. They could probably bring back Dottle at a relatively cheap deal unless he just kind of like explodes this year. We'll see. But yeah, I get it. If you want to fit a running back, Dallas kind of feels like the team to do it with. Cincinnati Bengals go with JT Tuimoloau. This team desperately needs pass rush opposite of Trey Hendrickson. Like, it's bad. JT Tuimoloau had a fine enough game against Akron, but again, it's more like, okay, this guy's more tools than production right now. We've been waiting to see it last year. Maybe we'll see it this year if that Akron sample size is anything to believe, then it's like, okay, no, maybe he's just more of the same. Maybe it's a guy that's just going to really try to get by based on traits. So Bengals go with edge. I don't think that. I like that. I like that. We got the Houston Texans go with Deone Walker. Utter steal. Perfect selection. Get that big midget boy in the middle that can move exceptionally well, be a great run defender just because of his sheer amount of size, and he's going to eat up space, but also gives you pass rush ability. So you get like the best of Fatukasi and the pass rushing you had with Collins last year mixed into one. You would love that. Like D'Amico Ryans would love this. This is his type of guy. Philadelphia Eagles, they go with a Harold Perkins, linebacker out of LSU. They list him kind of as an edge, but he's more of going to be like a moonlight edge. You're not going to be playing edge full-time at 6'1", 220. Sorry, you're just not. That's the fact of the matter. Though the Eagles, looks like they're going to be toying with some of these like guys that can moonlight as pass rushers from the linebacker position, whether it's Devin White, Zach Bond. You could go ahead, grab a guy like Perkins and try to develop that. And I mean, to be fair, like I thought Perkins was very good last year in coverage. Like he was better than I expected, you know. And this past game against USC, let's see what he brought to the table. As yeah, he was fine. Like even if he's just a minimal gain guy, which could probably more of the fact, say okay. You only rushed the passer 12 times. I feel like you want to turn that up. I feel like you might want to turn that up. 9 tackles, though. Golly gee, he was around the football. Love to see it. Love to see it. Detroit Lions take Patrick Payton. Sorry, I'm out of Patrick Payton. You could sell me on a day 2 prospect right now, but until we see some consistency, I am out on Patrick Payton. Like, the dude had a pass rush win rate against Boston College or against Georgia Tech of 0. I'm gonna do my best bingo impression from Bluey.
You get 0.
Guess what that pass rush win rate was against Boston College? He improved it. It was 5%. I get it. I'm out. Not for the first round right now. Maybe he gets better as the year goes on, but it's not been a strong start to the year. Right now, this guy's just all athletic tools. That's it. That's it. Detroit Lions would love an edge player, though. Baltimore Ravens go with Jonah Savanea. Tackle/guard out of Arizona. Kind of feels like he might be really good as a guard player. More so in a wide zone blocking scheme. I think just because the movement skills are so good. That's probably why you list him here as tackle potentially as well. But I mean, if you're Baltimore, you could get him in there and figure it out. You're probably looking for the heir apparent of Ronnie Stanley, and you're hoping that could be Savanea. And if not, well, fun fact, you kind of been a rotating door on the interior. Hopefully, Andrew Voorhees can lock up one of the guard spots, while the other guard spot I think is right now Falele, the former Minnesota tackle. So yeah, I mean, you're probably hoping at least one of those guys hit at the guard spots, and If not, I mean, worst case scenario, like he ends up playing guard for you. San Francisco 49ers go with Sebastian Castro. They list him as corner. He's a slot / box safety out of Iowa. I just don't like, he's not a high level athlete. He's a solid athlete. That's why I feel like he's more suited for the slot / the box. Like, he's got good short area quicks, very explosive. Also one of the older prospects in this class. I don't see him being a first rounder. I don't have him there. You could sell me on him somewhere in the 3rd or 4th round. That's fine. This is much too high for him. Especially, I feel like right now the Niners have an influx of guys that fit that role very well. So, Kansas City Chiefs go Kenneth Grant. How'd you let him fall this far? He should be top 20. This guy's a stud. I freaking love Kenneth Grant. Even if he just ends up being a space eater, he's putting it together as a pass rusher. I don't think he had the strongest performance against Fresno State, but I mean, to be fair, I don't think Mason Graham did either. Let's do a quick look of Michigan. Because off the top of my head, it was really Josiah Stewart that was going in and wreaking havoc. But you look at pass rush win rates. Like surprisingly, Mason Graham was stupid quiet. Kenneth Grant, stupid quiet. Like, yeah, it was kind of puzzling performances by both those guys where they ended up having, well, I mean, to be fair, you have a little bit of a change when it comes to the scheme. There's a little bit more aggressiveness with Wayne Martindale's scheme. So maybe give him a couple of games to actually settle in. So yeah, I'm not out on those guys either way. Kenneth Grant is just great, and you gotta get to pair him up next to Chris Jones. That just sounds hot and steamy. But that's the mock draft. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Of course, if you want more draft content, just check the channel. I went ahead and went over some players that either did well or did bad in the first week of college football. It's a stock report. That's going to be a weekly thing that we do. So, hey, check that out if you're trying to add guys to your watch list and you want to monitor players' stock throughout the year. It's a good way to do so. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.